All right, grasshoppers, 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon. And yes, it is just me. Mel was going to come on, but he's traveling. I think he was going to Vegas or something like that. I'm sure he's doing so it's just me. Funny stuff. So a little update here, a little Pepper update. Pepper the dog, my neighbor dog that likes to bark. So I was just out taking some garbage out, and Pepper had gotten away from his mother. And I think Pepper's a boy. I don't even know if Pepper's a girl or boy. And some moving guys were moving. So Pepper ran up and started barking at the moving guy. The moving guy was going to kick the dogs. And so then Pepper's mother starts yelling at the moving guy. It's quite the scene out there. She's yelling at him. The dog barks. He doesn't bite. I go, yeah, he barks all right. There's no question about that. So it's a funny scene. The dog barked. He doesn't bite. And the guy didn't speak very good English. And again, he's trying to kick the dog. And I wish I had the video camera going. She's yelling at him. And dog's barking. It was pretty entertaining. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? So everybody didn't hear Pepper incident just now outside. A little some fun times. Pepper got loose, tried to attack the movie man. Movie man tried to kick him. Pepper's mother's yelling at the movie man because he tried to kick the dog. The dog barks. He doesn't bite. Oh, yes. Oh, black shirt. Now, yes, I'd Dougie DeVito. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. I think Mel's scared of you. That's what it is. Black shirt. Now, yes. So we did the show earlier at 10 o'clock. I had that was my workout shirt on. I had not had a chance to shower yet. So that was a workout shirt. You know what I did for my workout today, too? I decided I was going to take a day to just meditate. I'm going to do some more meditating. So I'll get on that. All right. Hold on a second. Billy. Not in a good mood. Battling the rice rabies, a.k.a. COVID for a week. Oh, Billy's got COVID. Sorry, brother. As much as we have some fun together, I feel bad for you, brother. Take care of yourself. I'll tell you, I'm not trying to be a doctor or anything, but I'm really big on ginger and turmeric, that stuff. And I know you've already got COVID. It's not going to kill COVID or something like that, but maybe it helps feel a bit better. What kind of dog is Pepper? I don't know. It's one of those little, like a Yorkie-sized dog, but a little bit bigger than that. And I don't know, it's a little terrier or something. Actually, a cute dog too, but not when it's barking all the time. We had, where's the gang, Bill? I don't know. It might be just me the remainder of time. So we had the film crew come in from Vancouver, really interesting people. And I'll get really quickly. My neighbor is a videographer, so they needed another guy for the crew to video and everything. So he helped out. I hadn't seen him in a while. He lives right next to me, or right near me. So I asked him, I said, those dogs bother you? Because I want to make sure it wasn't just me. That was, he was not happy. He said, oh, they're not such a pain in the, you know what. So, okay. Funny thing, we'll get to the Rangers training camps getting going and everything. We had the Ranger, so two things. We had the Ranger golf tournament, the alumni golf tournament on Monday. Barry Beck was there. Good to see him again. He did not golf. He showed up for the dinner at the end. Fortunately, the dinner got rained out. We were at Westchester Country Club, and the dinner was set up outside. And we were just sitting down to eat, had a nice piece of salmon going on, and the deluge came and it started pouring. So I left. I didn't stay around. I think they went back at it later, but Bubba's good. Bubba's, he's aged, Bubba, but he's still Bubba. He's got a great sense of humor. He's a good man. It was good to see him again. Yep, Barry Beck. Oh, I love Barry Beck. Yes. I'll tell you, it's funny. You haven't seen a guy in a while like that. It kind of brings back the old memories of him playing. Like I said, he was a monster. There's a lot of pressure on him. Remember, they traded for 5 players. They'd gone to the finals. The next year, they traded for 5 players to get him. So, a lot of pressure on him, but he was funny, man. God, I think it was this morning I was telling the story where in warmups, he would sometimes come running over to me like we're going to hit each other, just like joking around. And this one day, I guess he didn't anticipate me. I hit him harder than I usually did. And listen, Barry's way bigger man than I did. It wasn't like I knocked him down. I think it took him by surprise, but I knocked him down on his ass. And it was funny. I was like, oh God, here we go. He got up and he was dying laughing. He loved it. He was pretty funny, man. Kotze, hold on. Kotze did not show up for dinner. Funny stuff. So again, interesting day yesterday. This Ryan Phillips is his name He's an interesting guy. He was a hockey player. He had to retire. He had a bad concussion. He had all his concussion symptoms, but they actually thought he was bipolar. And he was doing things like going on the cover of Bipolar magazine. He rode his bike across 7 countries to raise money for 7 different countries, raise money for mental health issues. They then found out he was not bipolar. He was suffering from, I guess, PTSD or CTE from brain damage. So really interesting guy. He has some tough times in his life. He's had this video he's doing that I'm a part of. It's called True Redemption. And he, I came into the timing of it, but at one point he was living down in Washington State, and because of his connections up in Vancouver, where he had access to a lot of marijuana, he started selling marijuana and was making millions of dollars at it. And ultimately got caught, got put in prison. And then got out again, and even then he went back at it again. And obviously was dealing with some shady characters, and his family was possibly, and his mother, father possibly in danger. He realized, like, what am I doing? So he stopped, and really kind of turned his life around. So now he does all this motivational speaking. Like I said, he's written across Canada, I think Cambodia, Vietnam, and again, all to raise money for mental health issues. So like a lot of stuff has happened to him, but he's really tried to make the best of it. His partner in the deal, Cielo, it's off English. Can't remember her last name. It's bad. Fantastic person. She had a period of time there where she had like a series of car accidents, just randomly, like within, I think it's like 3 or 4 years, she had some really serious car accidents. And she has some brain issues herself, but fighting through it. Very positive people. So it was good to see them. Good. Again, I had never met them before in person. They came out for the photo shoot. So it was good. They came here at 3:00 in the morning, did the whole 3:30 wake up, making the bed, out for the 3:53 march, going to the gym. He's about 40-some years old, has not worked out in a while. So we went pretty hard in the gym, and he was, getting full sweat going. So it was good. Then we went to the beach. They had the drone. I'm thinking about getting a drone. They had the drone. I thought it was pretty cool. It's cool to get a drone, some nice shots from that. So it's a beautiful day. So it was a lot of fun. Ron Jameson, what? Just got your 8th concussion. Wow. Sorry, brother. Be careful with yourself. Make sure you're getting help, right? Let me see here. Susan Brooks has got a question. Are you surprised Yandel, Chara, Subban all retired? I didn't know that Chara and Yandel had officially retired. I heard that Subban did. I think it was probably, I don't know if I'd be surprised, but I think it's probably, especially in the case of Subban, I just don't think anybody wanted to take him on. Again, I don't know that for a fact. That's just my guess. But somewhat surprised with Chara. I thought maybe somebody would want him in their locker room, some capacity as a player. Maybe he didn't want to take that lesser role or whatever. He's a proud man. But fantastic career. Man, I just think he's, like, again, both as a player and as a person, the way he was a leader and everything. I know I've said this before. I watched an interview with him, and they asked him about rookie hazing or how the treatment of rookies. And he said, listen, if you're on the team, you're on the team. Doesn't matter what year, if you're first year or 10th year, you're on the team, you're part of it. And, but at the same time, you have to be respectful as a young player. You have to be respectful of the older guys too. So, but he's really good. I like him. Yandel, great career, right? I mean, to play all those games consecutively, he's good. Let me see here. Is our buddy Barry Shelley? It's Thursday already. I guess you're on. Yes, there's Barry. Oh, hold on. Oh, hi, Jessica. How are you? It's Thursday already. I guess it is. You're on. Lost track of the days. Okay. Well, Barry, come on. Now you got to pay attention here a little bit. Okay, bud. Funny. I was looking on the NHL site today to see what's going on in the NHL, and they got this Brandon Tanev. And I didn't realize he does this, but I guess in every at the start of the year, they take the pictures for everybody, like for press day. He started this thing years ago where he had this wide eye thing, like he was, and it's become a tradition now. So, and every year it seems like they've got the years put together of all his pictures. And it's funny, if you go to the NHL site, and I guess some other players have joined in with him and doing it. They get the wide eye thing. Now it's become a tradition that he has to do it. So he could live in the true grit world. What time is the meeting? Oh, in the boardroom, huh? Yeah, very funny. I didn't get that at first, Bill. It's decently funny. Yeah, decently. Not overly funny, but decently. Yeah. Yeah, Tanev is a beauty. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. The picture they've got from this year is he's really got the eyes wide open. At first, I saw the headline and it was like ghost sighting. So I guess the theory is he's like he's seen a ghost. Is how he's. I saw the headlines. I was like, what? Like this guy seen ghosts? What was I going to mention to you? I don't know. What else we got here? Oh, Ira. So we did a show this morning, and one of the women that writes in is a friend of the gentleman Rich Gaberti that I do a show with, and she's an attractive woman, and she does breathing. She's a breathing facilitator. So she's got obviously her picture comes up, and Ira the perv like starts hitting on her right away, like he asked her to get married. But then later on, he's talking about whose cans. He's talking about somebody's cans. I can't remember who it was. What the heck is that? Instead of 3 Big Macs at McDonald's drive-thru, I do inside now make 3 separate trips. Oh, Ira. Let me see here. Any feelings from the players of the golf tournament? The big things are ahead for the team. Yeah, when those golf tournaments happen, we usually don't. The alumni really. We talked to the current guys a little bit. I had a great chat with my friend Chris Kreider. I like him a lot. We've done a few. Selma High, that's who it was. He was saying that nice cans. Yeah, what a perv. Just kidding. Yeah. So we don't usually rub shoulders with the players much. Again, I was talking to Chris Kreider. Great guy. Yeah, we had some fun together at events, and so he was riding around the golf cart with. Henrik Lundqvist. And so they were stopping around and saying hi to everybody. And so, yeah, I think the attitude around the team, just from talking to guys like him, is really positive that, but again, a lot of pressure too, right? You look at all the good teams here in the East. Florida's still going to be good. Tampa's good. Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina's good. And obviously the Rangers are in that bunch too. So it's, it is the playoffs now are fantastic in the National Hockey League, but there's no guarantee, even if you have a good team and a good regular season, there's no guarantee what happens. You see Tampa, what was that 3 or 4 years ago? They got beat out in the first round by Carolina, and they were really good. Oh, Danny, don't be jumping. I can't not put this up here. So I was telling the story about Selma Hayek. She was doing a very serious, like a motivational speech, and she was talking about that if we speak like if I'm talking to Ira and I insult him in another language that he doesn't understand, then he's really not insulting to him because he doesn't understand it. And the theory would be that don't listen to the words that other people are saying to you if they're trying to insult you. Don't let that be part of your language. Therefore, you just won't understand it. So of course, Ira has to talk about her cans. Let me see. How hard did you go with the first get a scrimmage? Sikora, Tenori, all ran Igor. Not a good idea. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, Igor Shesterkin, they ran him? Oh, jeez. No, you got a star player like that. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be running the goalie at all. Your own goalie you should be running. So no, that's not a good idea at all. No, I told the story. So obviously when different time when I first came to training camp, but back then it was the older players did not do hardly anything. It was rest up time, get your body back in shape, and then come to training camp and have a longer camp, 2 days, more games, and work themselves so they were ready to play for the start of the season. But I was a rookie, and I'd got myself in great shape. I wanted to make the team, and my job was to hit people. And early in camp, must be like 3rd or 4th day or something. Barry back. Phil Esposito was carrying the puck through the neutral zone and had his head down. So I stepped up and cranked him pretty good, knocked him down, and the rink went dead silent. Right, and I'm thinking, oh my god, like I did what I was supposed to do, but was I supposed to do it then? And he got up and he was hot at me, and I'm thinking like Phil was a fighter, but at the same time, like, oh, it's Phil Esposito. Like that year was going to be his last year in the National Hockey League. He had this fantastic career, total respect for him. So everything settled down. We got in the locker room after, and he comes walking over to me in the locker room, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go again. And he was still kind of hot, but he said, listen, I guess you really want to make the team, don't you? I said, yeah, Phil, I've dreamed about it all my life. He said, okay. He says, I respect you for it. I wasn't happy at the time, but I respect you for it. So that was survived that one. But yeah, running Igor. Whew, man, that's the kind of stuff like and especially now, I don't think that happens very much, but there's fights and practices at training camp. Guys are trying to make the team, and they're like, if somebody makes them look bad or whatever, the coaches are all watching and they want to see how they're. Back then, especially, it was almost like you were required to fight. They didn't want that. So, let me see here. What player stands out for you that played like a lunatic during training camp? I didn't play like a lunatic. I had to play hard. I had to show him I could fight. I had to show him I could hit. And I had a good first camp. I had some good scraps. Fought big Ray Neufeld. He was up in Hartford. fought, I can't remember the guy's name. He was with the Islanders, fought him in a rookie game. He's a tough guy too. Hector Marini, yes. Hector Marini? Yeah, Hector Marini. Hector. So that's good scraps, get some good hits and everything that. But the lunatic had to be Eddie Hospodar. I mean, I didn't mean it in a good way. I remember, so at the end of my senior year of college, I came and signed my contract with the Rangers, and then they sent me to New Haven, the farm team, to play in the playoffs. And we were playing in Hershey, and Eddie and I were playing defense together. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was carrying the puck out of their defensive zone, attacking Eddie and I. And all of a sudden, I see this flash inside my face, and Eddie comes flying across. I'm just about to take on this guy, like defensively, and Eddie just comes flying across and knocks both of us down. This other guy and me, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" But that's, that's Eddie was. Listen, I give Eddie credit. He was doing whatever he had to do to play in the National Hockey League, and he had to prove not only was he tough, but he was like a little nutty too, and that's what he wanted back then. He wanted people to be worried about him, so he had to build that reputation. So. There's a question from Leafs fan. Do I look at the YouTube chat? I can't see it during the show. I can see the one that goes on to Facebook, but I don't see after the show. I typically I get notifications about the chat on YouTube. Let me see here. Did you hear that Russian players on national incentives, they won't be allowed to play in Prague games in October? Oh, well, I did not know that. Oh, that's right. They're going over there to play games over there. I forgot about that. Oh, so because of all the stuff with Russia and the Ukraine. Oh, I did not hear that. Wow. I wonder who made that decision. Is that made by the National Hockey League or what it was? But wow, interesting. That's too bad for those guys. But listen, you've got to take a stand. What's happening over there obviously is wrong. So at least I believe it is. So, Eddie Hospodar. Eddie was at the golf tournament too. That's right. Yeah. He's a good man. Funny guy. He looks like that really like distinguished gentleman now. He's got the dark hair, but a little gray in the sides and the whole bit. So yes. Who else was there? Nick Kiprios was there. Mike Hartman, Adam Graves. So Adam Graves, myself, and Brian Mullen all have the bald heads. And when we're at events, it's hilarious because inevitably somebody's going to come up and think that I'm Brian Mullen or Adam Graves, or like Brian Mullen is me, or vice versa. So this guy came up to me after the golf. We were just sitting down for dinner, wanted to get some autographs done. And I knew by the way he was talking to me, he thought I was somebody else. I didn't know it was Adam Graves or Brian Mullen. He was all excited. He says, "Can I get your autograph?" And I stopped. I said, "Who do you think I am?" And he kind of looked at me puzzled, like, "Well, you're Adam Graves." No, I'm not. That's Adam Graves over there. He's on the other side of the room. And the poor guy, he felt like really embarrassed. I said, "Listen, don't worry about it. It happens to us all the time." It's funny stuff. Funny stuff. Let me see here. Want to keep up the great work. You're welcome there, my friend. Leafs fan. We won't hold that against you. Just kidding. Thanks, Tommy. I'm here anyways, regardless. Just was wondering to keep up the good work, man. I would love hearing the old stories. Much appreciated. Thank you. It's kind of different when I'm on by myself. So that in some ways it's better. I can interact with you guys more and answer your questions. So yeah, it's a lot better actually. No Mel. Bill asking, do you think the Rangers will have a letdown season? No, I do not. I think as long as they have Shesterkin there, and again, these young players like Lafreniere and Heidel in particular, I think they had really good playoffs last year, and they're going to be looking forward to coming back for the regular season. Listen, the season is never perfect. There's always ups and downs. You don't want to have a bad start. Like, it's funny because if you have a bad, like, let's say first 5 to 10 games, it looks terrible, right? It looks like this team's awful. If you have a bad 5 to 10 games in the middle of the season, it isn't as noticeable. But it's still 5 to 10 games that you have a bad stretch. And inevitably, every team pretty much does. I mean, maybe hopefully it doesn't want to be 10 games, but you have 5 games in the middle of the season there where it's just not clicking. People are scoring. But again, Shesterkin's the key, though, too. I mean, listen, the team's great, but Shesterkin, if he plays the way he can, it's just the way Rangers can't be beat, really. He's that good. I didn't know that about Hector Marini. Yeah. Eye injuries were, I don't know if it was different back then. There's more respect to whatever. I just don't think the sticks were flying around as much as they are now. It's almost like because so many guys wear shields, our players less careful out there, more reckless. But I got hit in the eye one time in Quebec. And it's a scary thing when you get hit in the eye, because at first you're like, I didn't get hit hard and there really wasn't any permanent damage. I had some little bit of damage. I think I missed a game or whatever. But when you first get hit in the eye, because you don't, like, right away, you're closing your eye and okay, what's the damage here, right? And obviously I had Brian Berard as a client when he lost his eye. Didn't lose it completely, but got hit in the eye up in Toronto. Marion Hossa was playing for Ottawa and hit him, and almost fully detached his retina. So, and then at the end, when he came back after a year, as most people know, and but he's playing one eye. I remember it was amazing to watch him play with one eye, because when he first got hurt, your depth perception is gone. Like, he was walking through the hallways in the hospital in Toronto, and he had to, like, walk through a door. He's got to put his hands up because he could barely tell. So to see him go from that to now playing in the NHL again with one eye was. I tell the funny story. I guess it's all right to tell it now, but when he came back to play, the teams all wanted him. I think the league mandated it too. There really wasn't a rule that he couldn't play with one eye, but I guess they wanted to make sure they were doing everything properly, and rightfully so, to protect themselves. So they wanted to do an eye test. He came to the Rangers, came to Boston, Columbus. So I would always go to the eye test with him, and I'd make sure that so there's different eye charts. Sometimes the E at the top, it's sideways. Sometimes it's upside down, whatever it is. So we had a code system, so we would know which way, because he couldn't see the eye chart. He could see it, but it wasn't clear. So we had a system where I'd say, like, those are awful shoes you're wearing today. So he knew which eye chart it was. And I told, I can't remember, somebody from the NHL I told later, they were dying laughing because he was past the point anyways, it didn't matter. And he was playing fine. So, let me see here. So what do I think of the Leafs goaltending, Tanner, for this year? We'll be at the top of the division team. The team is good. I don't trust that goaltending at all. Is it Matt Murray they got there too? He's playing in the minors last year. I know there's circumstances why he played the minors, but like he's one of those goaltenders, like a lot of them are, that is very inconsistent. Now, he could be fantastic some stretches, and then others, like, he can't stop a beach ball. So that would be my concern there. Listen, I don't know Kyle Dubas, and I don't see everything that's going on up there. I just kind of wonder if he understands how to put a team culture together with the right people. That'd be more concerned. But I'm not in that locker room. I just see that they don't seem to be able to fight through and have success. Again, really talented team he's put together, but that's kind of my take on him. So, but again, like I said, I'm at a distance, so I may not be reading the tea leaves well at all. And it kind of looks, they let Lou Lamoriello go because Kyle Dubas, the GM, was the next, like, up and coming guy they didn't want to lose. So I think they felt like, okay, if we keep Lou Lamoriello, then Dubas is going to get an offer someplace else, and we'll lose him. So Glenn Sommer, who coached North Stars last in Iowa, playing, and he went on to coach with, I would say, yep. So there's been guys. Who else? Somebody else, another player. So it's possible. I mean, like Brian, when he got all healed up and everything, he could function fine in life. But and even when he came back and played, I don't think it really affected him that much. I mean, it probably affected him somewhat, but yeah, he had some stuff breaks. I mean, he had, he was first overall pick in the draft. He was rookie of the year, and got traded to Mike Milbury. Ding dong, traded him to Toronto. So, right, yeah, to Toronto, yeah. So Brian was drafted first overall by the Ottawa Senators. At the time, the Senators were a mess. And he was just an 18-year-old kid. And sometimes you wonder, those guys, is it better for, but if you're in a solid organization, you're an 18-year-old player, then, it's okay. You can go ahead and play. But if the organization is kind of a mess, then it's like, for a young kid like that, you wanted to do some damage. So we made the decision to have him go back to junior for another year. And we had asked for a trade, and they ultimately traded him to the Islanders for Wade Redden, who was the second overall pick in the draft. And he went on to have a great career too. I was ultimately a Ranger for a while. Let me see here. Let me see. Very impressed with the package Drury was able to get for Lundqvist. Yep. Yeah. I'll tell you, Drury's done a great job. I mean, he was given a lot of good stuff. I think Jeff Gordon and John Davidson before that really set him up well, but still, he's finished it off. He's he really, like, he was really a sought after guy when he was here, just as what was he, assistant GM? So I think they were kind of worried too that if they didn't lock him up, from what I understand, the interim tag was one that's what they wanted to kind of put that on him, but he didn't want to accept that because I think he knew that other people really wanted him, and the Rangers, rightfully so, said no, we don't want to lose you, so you're it. Let me see here. Is it true that Larry Melnick is on the golf course? I think it is very accurate. Yes. Yeah. He's not a very dedicated, thing. I wonder, is it one of those things that he had success, went to his head, and now he's just kind of, giving half an effort? Could be. Interesting. We touched on it before. Do we now stay away from? That's a good question. No, I don't think so. I think every case is different. You get the player. Listen, there's no guarantee. You see Johnny Gaudreau up in Calgary, didn't want to sign there. Tkachuk didn't want to sign again in Calgary. So you did players from different countries for different reasons don't want to play certain places, different situations. Again, the whole asking for, especially as a young player, asking for a trade, wanting to get out. That's I would rather see, and again, the game has changed, culture's changed. I'd rather see players fight through the situation they're in, and be so good and so hardworking that the coach just doesn't have any other choice to play them. So again, that would be my message. But again, the game has changed so much, right? And the culture has changed. The way agents, are involved in the players have changed. Now, I think I've talked about this before. When I was an agent, if a player would come to me with a problem, I'd say to him, listen, the last thing you want me doing, I'll go talk to the GM if you want, or I'll go talk to the coach if you want, but the last thing you need is me going in there talking to them. It makes it look like you have no character, no strength. You have somebody else doing your fighting for you. They will respect you so much more if you walk into the room, close the door, sit down. You want to have a screaming match with them? Do it, but do it like one-on-one. Tell them what your feelings are. What do I have to do to play? So that is my feeling. Mike Richter was also at the golf tournament. Thank you, Susan. Happy 56th birthday. Yeah, good. He's a good guy. He's pretty funny. He's got a good sense of humor. Stefan Matteau was there as well. Who else was there from the alumni? Again, Barry Beck was there for anybody that didn't see the start of the show. Ron Greshner. We got Tom. How many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Oh, Bill. I don't know. You must be hanging around the Ira or something right now. I don't lick Tootsie Roll Pops. We don't put that in our body. Tootsie Rolls, sugar and all that stuff. Come on. I'm bad now too. This young girl, Taylor, really nice, sweet girl that works for the Rangers. She was at the golf tournament right around with Jackie DiPiazza, and I walked up and I said, "So, how you guys doing? What you have for lunch?" I said, "I had a hot dog." Now, my immediate reaction is to start lecturing her how bad hot dogs is. She was funny too. She put her fingers in her ears because she said, "I love hot dogs. Don't do this. Don't do this." She put her fingers in her ears and started making noise, so she didn't have to listen to me. It's pretty funny. No, it was funny. I'm serious. It was funny. Why does a player like Mel bounce around between the NHL and minors and Laidlaw plays his entire career at the NHL level? How does the coach? It's a great question. It really is. I think too, the situation changes. And again, part of it is like in Larry's case, like he had proved early in his career that he was a tough fighter. And then when you get that, they get that reputation. Like you come in as a fighter, come in as a Russian. No, I can't remember what this is. I can't remember what the saying is, but there's some saying. Basically, what it is, especially back then, if you came in and established yourself as a fighter, and then you didn't fight all the time, they feel like, okay, you're not doing your job. In my case, I came in and showed that I could fight, but then I didn't fight on a constant basis. If the team really needed it, or somebody ran a goal or something, goalie or something like that, then I was fighting. So they showed I could do it, but I wasn't expected to do it all the time. And even with Herb Brooks came in, he really didn't want me fighting. He would say, "Listen, you sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes. I want to play you." I was one of his guys, so those kinds of things happen, right? That's a good example. So Herb Brooks comes in for whatever reason. I was one of his guys. I filled a role that he wanted filled, and I was his boy. So, and then there's no question about it. Other players were not. They were very good players. So in Larry's case, he bounced around. Coaches changes happened too. Like when he first got here to New York, him and I played together all the time, and really solid, tough player, really good player. Really valuable to the team, a great teammate and everything. Then coach change happens. What's his name comes in? Jean Guy, whatever. I know the French guy comes in and he didn't like him and he shipped off again. So that is part of it. So I was a lover. Oh, Bill. Answer to Danny's question, Larry's a fighter and Tom was a lover. It's just, I just don't know why. I don't understand, Bill. Billy boy. What is this? We'll dispute this very strongly. I've seen Tom at a Rangers season ticket event picking out on the worst food. Well, maybe years ago, but not now. Danny, I thought we were tight. Jeez. Jean-Guy Talbot was the coach. Was that? No, it wasn't Jean-Guy Talbot. That was Jean-Guy Talbot was in the 70s, I think. In the 80s, it was Bergeron. Yeah, Mel calls it Bergeron. Let me see. Did you ever hate someone on the ice and then become friends in the real world? Mel and I went at it the first year. At least I don't remember the fight, but the score sheet said we had a fight. That happens a lot. Yeah. Marty McSorley and I had a great fight, and he was first up with Pittsburgh. And then we played together in LA. Yeah. Lots of guys. Let me see who else. Larry Playfair was a guy. I don't know if I hated him much. He's just like, oh God, this guy's a monster, and he could fight. But then I get traded to LA, and I still remain friends with him. Fantastic guy. Dave Taylor was another guy who you hated playing against. He was tough and just would never back down and everything. Get to play with him, and he's the sweetest guy to play. I sat beside him in the locker room at the LA Forum. Great guy, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of guys. And in fact, that happens a lot in the game. If you're a physical player at all, too, like my job, I had to hit people. People didn't always want to get hit. So, let me see here. Rex Ryan, is he on Amazing Race? Former Jets coach Rex Ryan is on Amazing Race. If you were on, who would you be a partner? Oh, I didn't know he was on. Oh, that's cool. That was how everything started with me getting on Survivor, right? Jerry Bruckheimer came to the National Hockey League, and I think he owns a piece of Amazing Race, Big Brother, and Survivor. And he, again, being a big hockey fan, Bruckheimer he owns part of the Seattle Kraken, and he asked to get some older guys on the show. So they went to a few people. They contacted Rangers, and Rangers contacted me because of all the stuff I'm doing. But I had to find somebody that was able to do the show. And I got in trouble with this because I said publicly that everybody was fat and out of shape doing the show. The other guy's like, "Oh, thanks, Tom. That's really nice." So that's how it all started. If I was on the show, there's a few people. That Elaine that I'm friends with that was on Survivor, she'd be fun to go on with. She's a real character, having fun. As far as former players, Mel and I, fun to Mel. There's a lot of guys. I mean, I played with guys like Tim Waters, who was out in LA. He's a friend of mine still. All the Ranger guys. James Patrick would be fun. Steve Richmond. There'd be a lot of guys. Yeah, it'd be good. What about Robert Picard? About hating somebody? I actually felt bad about it. I didn't feel bad about it at the time, during my career, but I look back at it now because it was just the timing, right? What he did to me wasn't that bad. So people don't remember my first year in league. I'd gone through training camp, had a good training camp. First game up in Boston, I was so it was a dream come true, but you're just so in awe of everything. I'm finally playing in the National Hockey League. Shot the puck in my own net, bounced it off JD's leg. Why JD didn't stop it, I don't know. But so now you're thinking, oh my God, because back then you really have made the team when they tell you, okay, now you can go ahead and get a place. Until that happens, you really haven't made the team. And they don't communicate that much with you back then. It was especially Freddie Shero. It's just like, I'm playing, so I must be doing the right thing. That's really how it was. So next game, we're in Toronto. My parents are at the game from right outside of Toronto. And Robert Picard skating the puck through the neutral zone. Robert Picard butt ends me. It's kind of a dirty play. He didn't ram it into me. He's more trying to hook me with it. But our bench jumped up, and I'm just like in a flash. I'm thinking, okay, I cannot let this happen. In a flash in my mind, thinking about the night before where I shot the puck in my own net, the dream of playing in the National Hockey League. So I got up and just suckered him, knocked him out cold. Well, I don't think I knocked him out cold, but knocked him down. He's down for a while, and it was funny because then my poor mother was there at the games. She was mortified, right? She was tough. She knew I would fight, but I didn't give him a chance at all. It was vicious. I just attacked him. My father, of course, thought it was fantastic. He was a big old farm boy. And after the game, they told me to get a place to stay. So, Robert Picard, though, we ran into each other a couple of times at the games, and you could tell that he was always kind of worried, like, this guy is nuts, like what he did to me. And I felt bad, but I mean, you had to do it back then. That was, let Let me see here. If you use back and criticize yourself for it was a few years back and you criticized you. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Yeah. Yeah, my diet's changed a lot. Yeah, you're right, Danny. You bring up a good point. It's amazing now because I make my own ketchup, make my own hummus, all stuff, so I can control how much salt and sugars in it. Back then, it was like eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, oof, man. Jeez, what is wrong with you guys today, Danny? I just thought you recovered stuff. If Selma Hayek was on Survivor, would you be best friend? Yes. Oh God. Ira is just a terrible influence on you, Danny, on Billy Contradidiac. Oh, God. You made the team. It has no air conditioning. You made the team. It has no air conditioning. See, I agree, Lorraine. Yeah. Lorraine is just offended. Oh, my God. Talking about a woman's cans, national television. Selma Hayek. The thing about that show is for men and women. Man, I don't know how anybody would hook up on that show. They stink, man. The smell. There's no showers, no deodorant out there, nothing. So after a few days living out there, imagine cuddling up with somebody. Although it's been happened before, but I guess everybody's smelling so bad, you just don't care. You just don't care. So again, if somebody missed the start of the show, Pepper update. I think this is important that the world knows this. Pepper the dog over here got loose from its mother. It was a funny scene. The moving guys were moving in right beside them too, and the guy's carrying like the cart or something like that. And the dog comes running over, barking, screaming. I turn around and look because I heard the dog barking, and the guy's going to kick the dog to get him away because, well, right so the dog's running after him. And Pepper's mother's running. He barks. He doesn't bite. He barks. He doesn't bite. And she's yelling at him, and he can barely speak English, and the dog's screaming. It's just. I pretty much had some fun watching that whole scene. It was good. If my wife's watching, she would be ashamed. And you rightfully so, Danny. Rightfully so. Talking about a woman's cans. She well put together, Selma Hayek. She's a pretty woman. Yeah, I was really surprised. She was very the way she was speaking, like very motivational, like very, like she could tell she was speaking to some person, and I mean, just an interview or whatever. But the whole theory about, and I like that. I hadn't really heard it been put that way before. That if somebody is speaking to you in another language and they insult you, it doesn't insult you because you can understand the words. So that should be the same way with somebody says you can't do something or whatever. Then you just don't have that vocabulary. You just don't understand what you're saying. So, pepper steak, yeah. No, that's the thing. I would never hurt a dog. Even, I think everybody knows part of this is joking around, but it's funny. I think I told we did the video shoot yesterday with these people, and my neighbor is a videographer, lives really close, 2 kids, great family. And he came over to help out. They hired him to help out with the crew. And I asked him, I said, so I didn't want to find out if it wasn't just me. I said, so what do you think of the dogs barking all the time? And he was like, the other day I was driving out, I forgot to tell this story. And it seems like there's a lot of people have dogs, and some of the people walking around their dogs. The dog never barks, under control, all that, really friendly. If anything, the dog will see you and wants you to pet him and all that. But there's a group of women, and I'm sure they're very nice people too. But they're all standing together. There's about 5 or 6 of them. They're the ones that have all got, not all, but a lot of the small little yappy dogs. And I'm driving by, and they're all looking at me like, a couple of them, actually Pepper's mother waved to me. But a couple of the other ones were looking at me like they're throwing darts at me. So I don't know if maybe they watched the show. Oh, man. That's it. We got an event tomorrow. I'm in the Bronx tomorrow at let me see where I'm at. Grab my phone here. I have it on my tripod all the time now. Oh, I want to ask somebody's opinion. Does anybody know about drones? So yesterday's crew, they had a drone, and I'm thinking of getting one. So all the videos I'm doing. So if anybody's knows how much should I spend, what I should be looking for, what's the good ones, what's the bad ones, that'd be great. Let me find out where go to Jackie D. Piazza. We are at the Highbridge Green School, 200 West 167th Street tomorrow in the Bronx. Hispanic Heritage Ball Hockey Clinic, 3:15. Like that. Good. Like that. I think it might have been at that school before we did another ball hockey thing. So It's always cool when you go into an area like that where maybe a lot of these kids haven't had the opportunity to play hockey at all. And it's good because they don't have to worry about skating. It's just ball hockey. So they're out there and you can tell a little bit at the start, they're a little bit timid. And then once they get going, they get, they usually, you don't want to do a whole bunch of skill stuff in practice and they want to have fun. So you get a game going and running up and down. They're all chasing the ball together. It's a lot of fun. It's good going those things. And when they're done, you can tell the kids are really appreciative. They've had a lot of fun, something new for them, instead of being in the classroom, the teacher's got to do the job and teach them, but they're outside having fun. So hopefully, I think the weather's supposed to be nice tomorrow too. So in the Bronx, I think that's fairly close to Yankee Stadium. It's probably about 10 blocks away or something like that. Ira, you are such an awful man. Who got the hotter women, Gresh or Deputy Doogie? Well, I mean, Gresh was married to Carol Alt. Doogs did pretty well. Yes, they both had very attractive women, but all got divorced too, right? So what does that tell you? There's Bianca. I think Bianca had your birthday. Was your birthday yesterday or today? Happy birthday to Bianca. I met Bianca down at the Fritz Dietl ice rink. Lovely woman, great family, great kids. Let me see here. Oh, that's right. The drone. Yeah, man, that's right. Should I go into Costco and ask them about the drone? Yeah. I don't know, though. They be experts on like drones. Lorraine, you grew up in the Bronx. That's right. You told me that. Yeah. All right. Bianca's birthday today. Happy birthday to Bianca. Let me see here. You need to be aware of airspace you fly and have to be so far. Yeah. Yes. I think it also depends, and you're right, but it also depends on the size of your drone too. If you have one of the smaller ones, it's not accuracy restricted, but I think still, you're right. It can't be flying in front of planes and everything. The guy had it yesterday. It was pretty cool. He, I guess, Rich Gabberty that I do the show with this morning, he was talking, he had one. And I guess the controls, when you want to go forward, you have to pull backwards. If you want to go left, you got to push the control right. It's like a little, toggle switch, whatever it is. And if you get like all of a sudden you got to change the direction because you might be hitting a tree or something, you kind of panic at first. Your initial, I guess after you've done it for a while, you would understand it. But your initial reaction would be, if you wanted to go backwards, is to pull it backwards. But that would actually make it go forward. So the joystick was the word I was looking for. Why would they call it a joystick? Something like Ira would come up with that, something perverted like that. But so it's really, and I guess they've got with these drones. You can set it so that it follows you. So like I'm going on my march. That's why I was thinking that you just set it on follow me. It just follows me around. I think though, if you get other people out there, it gets kind of debatable who would follow. So, oh really? I didn't know that. Many villages forbid the use of drones in the village. Okay. They forbid the use of drones in Cooperstown. Oh, wow. I wonder what the reason is for that. I guess obviously if you get everybody's using a drone, it's like a menace or something too, right? Good drones have auto collision on them, so you will not hit. Really? Oh, I don't know if Bill's joking around or not, but if they do, that's fantastic. Yeah. So again, this young guy, the cameraman that the crew brought in, he's. And I guess it makes sense that younger people, because they're playing video games so much, they'd be able to control it much better. They're used to using the joystick, Irish joystick. Oh, privacy. Oh, yes. Oh, good thinking. Thank you, Bill. Privacy. Never thought of that. So yeah, you can view, if you're in public, you're walking on a public sidewalk, whatever you can view from public, you can take pictures of even too. So you imagine up in a drone, they're looking at windows and everything. And what is public property when you're up in the air? That's the debate, right? I don't know if you guys do, but I get stuck watching these on YouTube, these videos. People will go, they're First Amendment auditors, they call themselves. So they'll go out in public. Some of them are good where they just, they'll go stand in public and video a store or something like that. And then people will either understand that they're allowed to do that, or they'll come out and question it, call the police. And it's more of like supposed to be an education that, no, this is allowed. I'm a public property. If you want privacy, you need to close your windows, whatever it is. Some of them get to be, and a lot of them lately get to be very antagonistic against the police and everything. So I don't like that, because I just think that, if you want to prove a point, like I said, I view it the same way. You're fighting for your rights. That's fantastic. You think back to Rosa Parks fighting for her rights and everything. A lot of people have done some great things fighting for your rights. You maintain a lot, but you really do notice in these videos, and I'm a big backer of the police, but even the police sometimes, they don't really understand. They can't understand all the laws and all the rights and everything. So some of them actually come out and say to the people with the photographers out on the public space that they need to leave. They can't do it. And then that's when they get in confrontations with the photographers, and they say, yes, I can. It's a constitutional right. And again, I don't believe it's the police, and maybe in some cases they're lying, but I think it's just not knowledgeable about it. And I think that's how we lose our rights, when you don't exercise your rights and make sure they're being exercised. Because that police officer, if they come out and they say to the person that they have to leave, and they really don't have to leave, now he leaves that scene thinking he's done the right thing. So next time it happens, that's the way he views it again. And again, I believe that's bad policing. It's just human nature. And they can't be expected to know every law. So, oh, where is Ira here? Where is Ira? Breaking news, just, yeah, okay, I'm in. Yeah, let's go. Get it on. And if they, then it's really all my idea too, right? Because I was one that tossed that was definitely one of those scenes that the ladder's there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, don't do it. And then get the one guy on one shoulder, another guy on the other shoulder. One guy's going, don't do it. And the other guy's going, oh yeah, do it. And one guy went out, tossed that ladder. And as soon as it's flying out of my hands, I'm thinking, shouldn't have done that, but felt good. So, but I did think after, like, oh God, what if somebody had the video camera going? Because I was pretty loud, and it was a couple of minutes that we were going back and forth. So maybe somebody does have the video out there. Who knows? But I didn't hit anybody with it. Didn't damage any property. I didn't steal anything. I just threw a ladder. I didn't think that's not even against the law. I don't think. Privacy. Oh, Barry. So the Cooperstown, they're outlawed. Privacy is the issue. Let me think. Do you have the right to toss a ladder in anger? Well, I view it that, like, I'm an educator, right? And I researched and found out that there is a town ordinance that the noise from working had to stop at 6:00 at night during the week, and 5:00 on Saturday. Could not make that kind of noise, construction noise, on Sunday. That's the law. That's an ordinance, the town of Greenwich. I researched it, got the facts done. So when I went out to inform them that they had to stop and they didn't want to listen, I had to educate them. I had to reinforce the conversation in some manner. And I made a decision at that time to toss the ladder. So, it's interesting too. So, yeah, I guess it's one of those. Of course, they seem to ignore the law. Essentially, Jones flag. Yeah. See, that's the thing lately. Maybe I'm just paying attention to them or whatever. It seems like around where I am, I have told my sons too that, listen, just because a light is green at an intersection, don't just go through it, because people are flying through red lights all the time. It's incredible. And again, maybe it's just I'm paying attention to it more. Like, if I'm going to, light turns green, I look both ways first. Make sure. Let me see here. Let's see what we got. Who had the best shot when you played? Just like to hear it from Horseman. Oh, so it would be Al McInnes, Doug Wilson, and L.I. Frady. I would say they had the best shot. Barry Beck had a hard shot. When Ray Rusin came in, and he was it wasn't the only guy, but he had a fantastic one-timer. So I don't know if people know what a one-timer is. The player passes, like somebody passed to Rexy, and he wouldn't stop the puck. He just shoot right off the fly. And again, we could all, well, I don't know if I could do it or not, but he really did it like he knew where the puck was going. He never missed. It's a great play, especially on the power play, because you move the puck quickly from one side to the other. The goalie's got to get across the net quick. Al Frady, Al McInnes, and luckily with those guys too, Al McInnes, Al Frady, and Doug Wilson, they were good at keeping the puck low, because they didn't care about us on the other team, but they weren't trying to hurt us, but they're more worried they wanted to make sure that their teammates would stay in front of the net and screen the shot. But if the player was shooting it high all the time, I'm not going to stand in front of the net either, bringing it around my head. So they were good at really keeping it low. So they were good. Any chance of getting Kelly Kissel on the show? Absolutely. Yes. That's a good call by you. Kelly's a good guy. Called him Muttley. He had, like Mel, he had kind of these grumpy manners. He wasn't grumpy. He was a great guy, but he gave you that feeling that he was a grumpy guy all the time. Actually, I think he liked me called Muttley too. Let's see here. Let's see what Lorraine did. I tossed a huge officer in anger when I worked at Yonkers. Good job, Lorraine. Get it out. Don't keep that anger inside you. Let's see here. Need to go through ever since being friends with Ira. No kidding, right? I mean, there's the good bad side and bad side to those guys. And Danny was getting dragged into too, Danny Erickson. But I have a good feeling about him. But he's sometimes he needs his wife on the show to watch over him. I think that's the issue. But Ira and Bill, I think with Bill, it's different. It's just a total lack of respect for me whatsoever. It's almost hatred he has for me. I hate to say it, but that's how bad it is. Ira just, we really need, therapy is the answer, right? I mean, we need to find out, get to the root of the problem, get him with Jackie Long there with some hypnosis, get to his subconscious. Maybe he doesn't have a subconscious. I don't know. I have the DVR ability on my box. I hardly ever watch TV now. In fact, I'm going to get rid of my cable too. My son's got the YouTube TV because I love watching football and I need to watch hockey. Other than that, I don't watch anymore. So there's TV shows that you make sure you watch. No, not now. No, I got to tell you, my life's so much better since I don't watch TV. I'm not, everybody else do what they want to do, but for me, it's poison for the mind. That's my opinion, but everybody else does what they want. How impressed were you with Rose? Unbelievably impressed, especially early. I mean, obviously you become used to that we skate. So it was my second year pro, Herb Brooks' first year. We were over in Finland. Rayo comes in and Herb, I just told the story, but it's so funny. So Herb had the skating drill. He pushed the nets up a little bit, and then you had to get around the ice 3 times in 45 seconds. And we could all do it. But we were always we were dummies, we were cutting the net really short, and we actually slowing down around the net. Rayo comes in and he goes wide around the net, keeps these long strides, even with his shorter legs going. And I don't know if he actually lapped us in three laps, but he was well ahead of us. There's no question. And we were we hated him. No, he's a great guy too. We didn't hate him, but it's just it was honestly okay. It was actually kind of good because then we had to step up our game. So obviously we watched him and realized, okay, first of all, we need to go wider around the nets to keep the long strides going. But again, he was just a fantastic skater. Yeah, he's a great athlete. You know what, too, and people would go after him physically. And we played with Barry most of the time, so Barry would protect him. But he really didn't. Rayo really didn't need to be protected. It was he would fight through the stuff. He wasn't bothered by the physical play. Playing Philly, they'd go after him all the time and everything, and he just keep going. He's a great player, great guy too. He was funny. We didn't think he would talk at all the first couple of months, and then we went to the pub and had a couple of cocktails. All of a sudden, he wouldn't shut up after that. So he was fantastic. He was good, really good teammate. Man, I love playing with him. He was good. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, you mentioned this before, Dan. My wife isn't a fan. She thinks you're a bit nuts. I thought before you said that she thought I was full of myself. She thinks you're a bit nuts. Well, yeah, there's no question. She's correct on that. I am a bit nuts. Yeah, to do the things I do. Yeah, you have to be. Life's an adventure. We all should be a little bit nuts. Yeah, go have some fun. Don't worry about thinking too much. Make mistakes. Get up and keep going. Okay. Thank you, Barry, for backing me. You're a good man. And the nuts part, I don't want to. I think she's right. I am a bit nuts. All right. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I live with no air conditioning. Take cold showers. Yeah, I agree. She's right. But I'm not full of myself like she said before. Or maybe that's Danny just saying that, putting words in her mouth. Couldn't stand Rod Langway. Did you have a friendly relationship? No, didn't really know him at all. You didn't like him, right? Oh, well, see, I looked at it more, was he tough and hard and all that kind of stuff? Yes, but I looked at him as just a hell of a player. I actually had more respect for him than anything, but I really never got to know him. But it's interesting you didn't like him. But I don't blame him. I mean, he was a hard player, man. He showed up every game. Let me see what we got here. Talk about trash talking. What do you think of the new rule about chirping during games? NHL rule? I didn't see that. If they do that, that's ridiculous. Well, you're not supposed to chirp each other? How are they going to not have that? Is that true? Is that right, really, that they have the rule that you can't chirp at each other? Wow. That's a good question right here. How would Ray Luciano do in a race against Mike Gardner and Bob Bourne? Fast guys. I don't know. Bob Bourne was fast. I don't know if he was right up there with Gardner and Rayo. Maybe he was because he was fast. I played with him in LA too. Good guy. Oh, man. Really fun guy. We roomed together. He's a fun man. Yeah. Bill, I'll answer your question out of respect for the show itself, but I'm really disappointed in you. Did Pav and Rayo room together? They used to come down and bus all the time. I think they did room together. Yeah, they were really good friends. They were tight. Yeah, really tight. Oh, so Danny's wife couldn't get past the air conditioning. I get it. I get it. It is not as bad as it's made out to be, though. I mean, remember, I grew up where no air conditioning on the farm. My parents never had any air conditioning at all. We do get part of it is I understand her belief, and I don't blame her for her feeling I'm a bit nuts to have no air conditioning, but it is part of. We do get conditioned, like air conditioning. We get conditioned to believe certain things, that we have to have certain things. Where we lived for, lots of people lived. I mean, when's air conditioning invented? I don't know, 100 years ago or something like that. So all the people before had no air conditioning and survived. Cold showers, they're actually very healthy for you. They're proven like you're really great for your immune system, gets you out of your comfort zone. A lot of people really believe in just taking cold showers. And again, a lot of places, you think around the world too, a lot of people don't have plumbing and air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's not perfect, but they survive doing it. So, but again, my belief is just to always get yourself out of your comfort zone. You're not perfect. Life is not fair. Things are going to happen to you that force you out of your comfort zone. If you're not used to being out of your comfort zone, then it becomes a bigger deal. If you have already trained yourself to get out of your comfort zone, then when something happens to you, it's like, okay, I'm not comfortable with this. It's uncomfortable. I'm not in my comfort zone any longer, but I know I can survive it because I've done it before. That's my theory on it. So, let's see, pathetic. Number of. Oh, is that right? Wow, I didn't know that. Huh. How the heck are you going to do that? And hockey, that's part of the fun of playing. I mean, I agree that any racial comments or sexual comments or anything like that should be out of it. But I mean, saying a guy like laid like you're a jerk, laid like you skate like an old man. I mean, you can't say that stuff anymore. Well, Barry knows. Have I ever thought about going on The Bachelor? I thought I told you this. Well, maybe. So I got approached by a marketing company about they have a show, I think, coming out. I don't know if it's even out or not. Bachelors for people over 65 years old. And obviously, I'm only 64, so I couldn't go on the show anyways. But they're interested in going on the show. Isn't the idea that you really have to try to get somebody there that you're going to marry? And just, I've done that twice. I don't really know. Yeah, interesting question. It's funny now. Ever since I did the dancing at the Madison Square Garden, I'm off. The camera crew was dying laughing at me yesterday because we're in the kitchen. They wanted to do a little bit of a cooking segment too, so we use the air fryer to make some salmon and baby potatoes. And I get in the kitchen. I start dancing all the time, and again, I'm terrible. So I'm dancing. They actually brought that. They actually somebody who I think I can't remember what the capacity is, but they're tied in with Dancing with the Stars, so they were going to ask him if. But I can't dance. Oh, I can't. I should say that's terrible. Shut up, Tom. Yes, I can dance. So that'd be nice going to dance with Stars. Would that be funny? Oh man, that'd be good. Yeah, we gotta have some more adventures. If my wife met you, I guarantee that thank you very much. Yeah, and she'd understand that. Yes, I am a little nuts, and that's again. I think we all need to have a little bit of that nuts in us to do things. Oh, listen, dogs. Oh. So my neighbor's dog, she's a really sweet woman. She's widowed, very sweet. And she apologizes. She tries to get the dog to not bark. Because again, he's this tiny little dog. And she's even complained to me. She said, this dog should have been taught not to bark a long time ago. So with her, it gets frustrating sometimes. The worst is when there's a whole bunch of them around, one starts barking, then especially on nice days when all the windows are open and like that. And once one starts barking, then they all. So, but you know what? It's a good thing. If we didn't have the dogs barking, we'd have less to talk about, right? So, let me see. Did you chirp? Oh, absolutely. Hold on. Yeah, that's the other getting soft. Did you chirp? Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Back when I played, I think everybody did. Gresh was one of the best at it. I was pretty good at it. But then, there's always guys that are good. I've told the story of John McClain was with the Devils. I was out in LA. And I think he had the C on the jersey. That's why I was after him. And we were in a scrum. And I said, well, who did you who did you suck up to? I use a different word, but different phrase. Who did you suck up to get that C in your jersey? Thinking that that's a pretty good line. And I didn't realize how good he was. He was a pretty good chirper. So he chirped back at me and says, who did you suck up to still be playing in the league? It was one of those things, a bunch of guys are around too, and everybody just, you knew he got you. There was nothing you could do about it. I actually started laughing myself. I said, that was a good one. That was good. So it's funny. NHL getting soft. I don't know. I mean, the game has just changed so much. It's an entirely different game. I think the NHL is fantastic. I look at what they do now, the outdoor games. The NHL playoffs are incredible. It's just totally different. Like when we played, it was almost barbaric. I mean, it was some of the things would happen, the brawls, things were said to each other out there. And I always thought that that's the way the game should be because, you kind of kept the other violence down, like the cheap shots and all that kind of stuff, because you knew you were going to have to pay a price if you did it. But the way they play the game now is fantastic. So it's just totally different. You can't compare the two games. And I don't even think it's right to try to say which one's better or worse. It's just totally different. I love watching the games now, but they're different athletes. They're drafted for different reasons. They train differently, eat differently. So, Pepper needs to be punted. No, Bill, we do not kick dogs. Okay, I'm not even putting that up there. It is, yeah. Yeah, well, there's hitting. But, well, to me, the hitting isn't the league issue. The hitting has become now, it's more the players feel like another player shouldn't be hitting their player. I understand they want to come to the defense, but I've talked about this before on the show. That's to me terrible because now you typically what happens is, let's say I hit somebody in the Philadelphia running flocky hockey, and then one of the players comes over and jumps me. They should and usually do get that extra instigator penalty. If you just wait, or like chirp the guy. Again, you can't chirp now, but just wait. Don't get him right away. Wait and say, okay, you're going to get yours. I mean, we would certainly go, threaten the guy and say, listen, we're coming after you. And then wait till later on. You see what happens with the score. If you're going to have to jump somebody, if you're up 5-1, do it in the last minute of the game. And then it doesn't hurt your team as much. But to do it right away like that, again, I almost think it's kind of selfish almost. You're really not thinking of the team. That's my view on it. So, let me see who we got here. Yeah, that's very true. Oh, Sam is one of the most hated but nicest guys off the ice. Very, very true. I know Ranger fans don't like it because Dave Brown was the public enemy number one, or one of them. But again, I said this, to meet him, what a great guy. Really, like a really, really nice guy, like a real gentleman. Again, when I get traded, playing against him, Rangers against Philly, he hated us. He hated everybody. Just the fact that you had the jersey on. And, you line up in the face-off and he's beside you. You're thinking to yourself, okay, it's a good chance something's going to happen. Because when he was out there, he wasn't out there to play. I got traded to LA. We came back to play in Philly, lined up for face-off. He steps up beside me and leans over and looks at me. And I think he's going to start saying something to me. He goes, Tommy, how are you? Good to see you again. I'm thinking, who are you? I think I saw him years later and I actually said something to him. Like when he said that to me, I was like, oh, what is that all about? But he was a great guy. He'd scouted with the Rangers, I think, for a while too. Yeah, the game's like you're talking about the game change and even the stuff like scoring a goal when they come by and it's off. When they come by and they high five each other on the bench, like that was something that like junior teams did or college teams did. Or we didn't do it in college. To see them do it at the NHL, I mean, I'm used to it now. When they first started doing it, I was like, oh, guys, come on. You don't do that. Like celebrate with the guys on the ice, line up and get ready to go again. Same thing with I guess it's good at the end of the game when they do the salute to the fans. I guess that's good because, the fans deserve support. I mean, it draws the fans in more, making sure that it shows that they're being recognized. So let me see. Oh, so Barry did some homework here. I stand corrected there. Calling monitors for unnecessary celebrating. Number of penalties call after goals when players can't believe it. Even that. Come on. I don't. I mean, in the old days, I can't remember who the player was. It was when Sean Avery was playing because he'd been thrown out of the game. A Ranger, a Russian guy, did the old rifle shoot after he scored, like he was shooting the goaltender with his goalie with the stick. And I think it was Tampa came after him, and rightfully so. Back in those days, you did not do that kind of stuff. But nowadays, that's one of those things that changed. Like the celebrations, like kids playing. When we do camps and everything, we do like I'll do it tomorrow. One of the things I'll teach them is if you score a goal, you've got to come up with a good celly, and the kids love it. They have a blast with it. So to take that out of the game, I'm like, I guess if it was causing brawls, but yeah, I don't know about that. Rafi Torres, yeah, he did some things that was like, man. There's one guy. I can't. It's awful. I can't think of his name right now. Played in Toronto, Montreal. And we got in a scrum, and really nothing was going on between him and I. He reached in and started trying to gouge my eyes, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He really wasn't. He was tough, but he wasn't a heavyweight. But like that kind of stuff is like, if you want to fight, okay, let's fight. But Glenn Cochran, Gary Isabel Pro, it's scary and nice. Yeah, totally. I hate to agree with you, Bill, but you're exactly right. I met Glenn Cochran a few times. Great guy. Gary Risling, I told a story where he was called up with Pittsburgh. We were obviously staying in the hotel in Pittsburgh. After the game, he was walking back to the same hotel that we were staying in. And we just after the game, so I think we maybe even fought or something, or at least telling each other we're going to spear each other's eyes out. And we started talking on the way over. And yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. I didn't know Probert as well, but I heard the same things about him, that he was just almost like a sweetheart of a guy. Yes, Barry, I will ask James about it too. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's the next thing. Theron Fleury rode a stick down the ice. Ty rode a stick down the ice too, but Theron Fleury did it one time. One time, yeah. Or a lot of times. Tiger Williams did it. That's true. That goes way back. Yeah, Tiger Williams did it back in the 70s. Let me see the celebration. Yeah, Panarin. Like, see, that's become like a signature thing. I think in today's game, that's much more accepted. Like the opposition doesn't look at it that they're getting showed up. It's just that's what the guy does. That's Panarin's signature move after he scores a goal. I think it's fantastic. I see kids when we're doing clinics, kids are doing it all the time. They're doing the leg kick after they score goals. I think that's great, right? That draws the kids in, the fans in. Yeah, I hope that's not the case, the celebration. Again, I can see if it becomes so bad that it causes brawls that they have to do something to stop it. But too many hot dogs, Tom. Oh, just your number one hot dog. Well, Bill, I agree with you on a lot of stuff, and I just think it's a culture change, right? It's a different way it's more putting a show on for the fans. We didn't put a show on. Our show for the fans was us working hard and playing the way we were supposed to play. That was the way it was back then. But again, things have changed. Like even that lacrosse pickup thing where they scoop the puck up, Zegers or whatever has really perfected it and get the bucket. Man, if you did that back when I played, you just never would have done it because you would have got killed. The guys would have just wouldn't have stood for that at all. That would be a hot dog move. But now again, here's one of those things that everybody, every time I go to a camp, here's the kids again trying to pick up the puck and do it. It's the fun in the game. We've got a culture change, that's for sure. So, but Ovechkin, I actually thought it was pretty funny when I first saw him do the thing where he put his stick down on the ice after he scored a goal and pretended it was like a hot fire, like his stick was on fire. It was almost like I thought it was more like kind of cool that he was saying it was a stick. It wasn't him that was doing it. I actually like him. I know he's a Ranger fans don't like him, but he's a hard player. Like if he was on your team, you would love to have him on your team, I think. I mean, these goals he scores, how hard he plays. Like last year in the playoffs where they were missing a couple of guys, their hitters, like Tom Wilson, and Ovechkin was hurt. But I saw in him that he really realized his team needed that dynamic on the team, and those other guys weren't there. He's grown up a lot. He's grown up a lot too. I mean, maybe early in his career it wasn't the same way, but let me see here. Yes, as a matter of fact. Yeah. I have this other company called Post Game Strategies. I don't talk about it very much. It was designed, I think I started, it must have been like 20 some years ago. And the idea is that the network that particularly former athletes have is probably bigger than the network current athletes have, because current athletes are not out in the community as much as we are. We do, obviously, as you know, we do a lot of charity stuff, golf events, and you're always meeting new people. The Rangers have us up in the luxury boxes. You meet people up there. And it's very often it's either wealthy individuals, people running hedge funds, private equity firms. And then we also get to meet people who maybe are doing oil and gas deals or real estate deals, a lot of marijuana deals right now. And they're always looking for money. Some guys are starting funds and looking for people to invest in funds. So we use that network of the former athletes. So Kelly Kissy out in Calgary, it happened years ago. He had a buddy who was a really powerful oil guy looking for $500 million for an oil deal. And he was going to find the $500 million anywhere because he was that good of a guy. But he was really good friends with Kelly. he said, listen, I'm going to find the money anyways. If you guys can find it for me, I can't give you an exclusive on the deal so that nobody else is working on it. But if you guys find it for me, you get paid the fee that's associated with it. And they were happy because they get to hang out in that case with Kelly Kishio. I had for many years, in the business world, the agent world, and everything. I still kept that. The hockey world is supposed to be humble. You don't tell people who you are, like former NHL player. But a lot of business people telling me that, Tom, listen, in the business world, we're always looking for an edge to compete in the business world, like, to get in the door with these guys. Because again, a lot of these big, powerful hedge fund guys, they're always getting bothered by people for deals. So, they get all these calls and they have the secretary screening the calls. So I did a little research. I finally gave in. I said, okay, I Googled hockey in Wall Street. Got about 20 names of guys that played like college hockey and everything, who were managing mainly big hedge funds, multi-billion-dollar hedge funds. So I called this one guy up and talked to the secretary, said, this is Tom Laidlaw. He used to play for the New York Rangers. Just like to talk to Mr. So-and-so. And she literally put the phone down and you hear the pitter-patter of little feet. She's going down the hallway, kind of running. And I'm thinking, what, did I assault her or something? And the gentleman got on the phone right away, and he was like, this isn't Tom Laidlaw. Tom Laidlaw would never call me. It turns out he was a huge hockey fan. He invited me down for lunch the next day, and his office was like a Hall of Fame. And all these other business guys, when I told the story to them, they go, yes, Tom, we told you. And I kind of looked at it that it was being, kind of braggadocious, or whatever word you want to use, but came to realize that, no, it's business. These guys, they do business anyways. They have to. So he had a multi-billion-dollar fund, and he had to put that money someplace. Investors were giving that money to him so he can invest other things and make money on that. So he had to do it. So I wasn't asking him to do me a favor. I was really supplying him with an opportunity. We never ultimately got a deal done, but he's contacting me with other people. So through all that, to answer Susan's question, there's a lot of people coming to us, or we talking to these wealthy guys who are saying, listen, how about buying an NHL team? But as they were tough deals to do. They obviously are getting done, but it's one guy said to me, it's like herding cats. The hockey is better now, but hockey teams in particular, which I was dealing with, if you had to look at it as an investment, we're not that as rate of return, based on rate of return that on a yearly basis, but not that good of an investment. Now, they would always be making money over the long term. But again, a lot of these guys needed to have a rate of return during each calendar year. And those teams were not that good. For Iris, and he's an accountant, so he understands that stuff. But so it was, yeah. So as we were doing those things, part of the thought process was that, instead of in lieu of our fee, get a small percentage ownership in the team. I'd still love to do that too. Yeah. What we got here? Okay. What do you think of Hurricane Silver after we went home? I always look forward to what they play when that it would go over. Oh no, wouldn't go over when we played at all. Not at all. No, guys just wouldn't do it. We would not do it. Yeah, it's been so against we grew up with that you just didn't do that kind of stuff. I think it's fantastic now. Again, it's at first I saw it, I was a little bit questioning at first, and it was Don Cherry. Didn't he call them a bunch of jerks or something like that? And again, Don Waddell, who's the president and general manager there in Carolina, is a great friend of mine. We were roommates together in college, so I called him up. And we were kind of chuckling about it because he kind of knew how I would feel about it at first, but he was kind of surprised that I thought, it's pretty cool. It's, it's different times altogether. Fans love it. The guys are pretty creative with it. Again, we would not have done it, but that doesn't mean the players are wrong doing it now. It's a different culture. That seemed pretty good. They come up with some good stuff. I think that's part of the fun of it, right? Being creative and thinking new things. Let me see here. He was hysterical. Who was hysterical when he was hurt? I missed who we were talking about there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rupper did this. Rupp did the Yager salute. That was pretty cool when he did that. The Philly guys were not too happy about that, right? Because that's kind of Yager's thing. But I thought that was great, especially when Rupp does it. What's somebody gonna do? Beat him up? He's a tough dude. Let me see here. This is a good question. So why did I pick number 2? So I had number 2 all the way through college, and I don't know if there's a reason why I had number 2. I think growing up I had different numbers, but when I got to college, I got number 2, and obviously had it for 4 years. And then when it came to training camp, I was having a really good camp. So when it came time to hand out jerseys, a lot of times with rookies, they just hand you a jersey, whatever number it is. Really don't get to pick it. And Joey Bucchino was handing out the jersey. Joe Bucchino ultimately became general manager at one point for a short period of time after Craig Patrick got fired, I believe. And so he looked at me like right now. I never forget. He gave me the lucky hand, number 2. He says, "You've earned this." And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Because at that time, you still don't know for sure. Again, they don't tell you if you made the team or not. I felt like I was playing well. I was playing a lot of a lot of NHL games. So, oh, Ira, somewhat funny. Better gesture, Tom or Don Cherry. I'm not dressing like Don Cherry. I mean, I admire him. He's got courage to wear those suits, but I'm not wearing that stuff. Oh, Ovechkin. So you're saying Ovechkin was funny from the bridge there? Yeah. No, I've seen him. He looks like he's got a great sense of humor. Those boys in Washington, supposedly, it wasn't just that when they won the Stanley Cup, but they can drink their beers like the old days. That's what I understand, that group down there. They were funny when they won the cup. Some of the videos, right? Like, weren't they swimming in Vegas and the shower outside? That was pretty cool. Yes, Bill. Thank you very much. See, Bill, you have really recovered well here. I thought you kind of insulted me before, maybe not. But yes, retired my number to garden, number 2. Yes, the wrong name is on it, but it is up there in the rafters. Oh, Susan's Ovechkin up there too. Yeah, I can see him being like that. Yeah, he's got a sense of humor. Where's Susan here? He's trying to take pictures, joke around with fans. Yeah, he's good. I can see that. A funny guy. Don't they have some funny commercials? Him and his wife, and I think it's a Swedish guy there too. They got some his life insurance. There's Geico insurance commercials. Yeah. I know, Bill. See, you know what? I say the same thing myself. It's funny. I see he's got a pretty good sense of humor. Brian does. So we were at what event we were at? It was the Skate with the Stars. Chelsea Pierce raised money for the Ronald McDonald House, and he wouldn't get. I can't remember what it was. Him and we were up on stage. I was the MC. I introduced the whole team, and then him and Richter and I think it was Adam Graves wouldn't get off the stage. They were just standing there chatting with each other, having a conversation. And now I'm supposed to move on to the next segment of the presentation. And so I was like, guys, get off the stage. And he goes, hey, I be careful. I'll rip that jersey off your back or something like that. He said it was pretty funny. He's good. Yeah. Yeah, Susan, you're right. Backstrom was on those commercials with Ovechkin and his wife too. Yeah. I thought this is pretty funny ones. All right. So we're at an hour and 16 minutes. Thanks everybody. That was a fun time. Again, I mean, I'm going to get some guests on, especially as the season gets going. But it seems to be that we have some fun with these shows. We get to answer questions more when it's just me on the show. So, and of course, I have no problem. I have a big mouth, so no problem doing it. So, all right, great to see everybody. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, the rain has stopped for the day here, and we can have a nice weekend. Go Giants! Let's go get it done.